Okay, so if you've just seen a video from me pop up on your subscriber feed saying top 10 Power Ranger episodes, just so you know, it's not something I'm going to be doing all the time. I'm not going to be continually talking about Power Rangers. If people ask, I may do a couple more, but the only reason I'm doing it today is because today is Power Rangers Day. It's the day that it aired, the 25th anniversary. It's 25 years. It's 25 years. Yeah, we're old. We're very, very old. And the reason I'm doing a video like this is because the older you get, the more nostalgic you get. Well, at least I do. So I still watch things like this from time to time. This, Saber the Bell, just old shows I used to watch as a kid. It's kind of a nice, warm feeling about doing it. And it's why I have a Power Rangers t-shirt. And it's also why I had two of the Power Rangers sign my clock. Just to clarify, that was clock. That Jason and Zach signed my clock. They refused to sign my penis.
Put the bunny back in the box.
So to give you a brief bit of history on my Power Rangers knowledge, I loved the show when I was a kid. I loved it until Turbo. Turbo I kind of fell off. As soon as a Power Ranger came in that was younger than me, I kind of realised, well, okay, maybe I'm going to leave this alone now. And I haven't really watched anything post-Turbo. I've seen a couple of episodes here and there. Like normally when the Rangers come back for an episode, like whenever Tommy comes back, because he comes back a lot, I'll check that episode out. But I haven't... anything after Turbo, I don't really know a huge amount about. I know how space ends, but that's about it. So these episodes are pretty much going to be confined to the Mighty Morphin era with a couple of Zeos thrown in, because that's the one I watched. They're the ones I remember. And when I say my top 10 best episodes, it's just the ones I kind of remember the fondest. I don't know whether they're still the actual best episodes. They're just the ones that I look back on and remember enjoying the most at the time. So with that out of the way, let's go with my top 10 episodes of Power Rangers. And number 10 is Rangers in Reverse. I remember watching this one and just being in awe at how it ended. The Rangers, if you haven't seen the episode, if you don't remember it, the Rangers get turned into children at the end, and then all the bad guys grow and start marching across Angel Grove, and it's like a big season finale cliffhanger. Because Power Rangers did have cliffhangers. It did occasionally have season finale cliffhangers, and this was one of them, and it was a really, really good one. The episode itself was fun. It was kind of like a slow build. There was a lot of time spent at a fun fair, and then everything kicked off. The world got sent back in time again, which how they did it didn't really make a lot of sense. There's a lot of inconsistencies there. But yeah, it's just an episode that I really remember just being like, wow, they did this. Can't wait for the next episode now. And then after that, Alien Rangers came along and it wasn't quite as good. But the build up to it was great. Resolution to it, not so much. And number 9, Wild West Rangers. This one was silly. Like, it was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They were all very, very silly in their own way. But this was particularly silly. The general gist of it was that Kimberly got sent back in time and she ended up in the Wild West days. And there were other versions of all the other Rangers there, but they were their ancestors. And she got their powers back, and they all had powers, and they all had little Western attires attached to them. As I say, all very, very strange, but I love Wild West stuff, and I did as a kid as well, and I loved Power Rangers as a kid, so combining these things two together just made for a really fun episode. And yeah, it's one that I can even watch back now and still get some sort of enjoyment out of. Yeah, Wild West Rangers, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a look, just because of how bizarre it is. I think it was a cactus monster, from memory, which, being Power Rangers, isn't the weirdest monster they had. That was probably the creepy eye one. Eye Guy? Was that his name? And number 8, Return of an Old Friend. I, like most other people, loved Tommy. Tommy was the bomb of a character. He was awesome as the Green Ranger. I still liked him as the White, but the Green Ranger is the one that I remember the most, of just him being this renegade ranger, the evil ranger when he first came in. And it was gutting when he was taken out. I'm going to do an honourable mention list soon, and the Green Candle will be on there. But yeah, when he lost his powers, that sucked. But when he came back, that was awesome. And for those of you who say that Power Rangers didn't really have arcs, it did. Like, Tommy came back, he got his powers back, but they were draining, and that continued to run across multiple episodes. But yeah, just seeing him walk back into Angel Grove, all the students' parents have been taken, the Rangers have to hand over their power coins, it seems like they've lost. In comes Tommy, complete with a ponytail this time. Man, that guy can pull off a ponytail. Yeah, just a really great episode, a really awesome moment, and just one of those moments that I just look back on and go, yeah, that was cool. Number 7, A Golden Homecoming. So this was a Zeo episode, and it was another episode where we got a Ranger coming back, and that particular Ranger was one of my favourites, Jason. This was towards the end of my time of watching Power Rangers. It was sort of the back half of Zeo. But the Gold Ranger mystery was a cool one. We didn't know who it was. There were lots of red herrings being thrown up along the way. Like, was it Billy? Was it Skull? It'd be great if it was Skull. Love Bulk and Skull. But yeah, this continued for a little while, and then we eventually found out it was somebody we didn't know. some guy called Trey who was like 3 people who could turn into 1 or something like that. So that was a bit of a disappointment, but then that was all swept under the carpet when Tommy went to go and find somebody to take on the Gold Ranger powers, and we saw that it was Jason. Jason was such a cool character. I think the actor Austin St. John's really good as well. He's genuinely one of the better actors on the show. And he does great coming back onto Zeo. It's cool seeing him interact with all the other characters. It's cool seeing him in a non-leadership position. Yeah, great fun having him back. Really good episode. Number 6, Green No More. So this is when I was just saying about a lot of Green Ranger stuff here. I love Green Ranger. But there's a lot of him. But when I said that he was losing his powers, these were the episodes where he actually lost them. And it's a great deal of fun. And it's also sad as well. Like, it was sad to see Tommy go. Like, I remember when I first watched it, I didn't know that he'd be coming back as a new Ranger in like 3 episodes' time. It was great that he did. But these episodes were just, it felt like the fall of a teammate again. It felt like we were going through the pain of the Green Candle all over again, of losing the coolest Ranger. And we still did lose that Ranger. Like, the Green Ranger was gone. Like, the White Ranger, while still cool, didn't quite live up to the Green Ranger in terms of awesomeness, I don't think. Did like Saba though. Always good to have a talking sword. But yeah, this just felt like the culmination of a lot of episodes. And again, it's another one that I've watched recently, because I do that. And it still holds up. It's still the monster. I can't remember his name now. A very silly monster. I think they have to freeze him at some point. Very strange. But the monster, not quite so good. But for the character stuff, because Power Rangers did do character stuff well on occasion. And the Tommy stuff, awesome. Great episode. And number 5, A Zeo Beginning. So the Zeo Beginning was the start of a brand new era for Power Rangers. It was the first time where they completely changed costume. They changed Zords, they changed absolutely everything. They even changed the theme tune, and I really like the Zeo theme tune. And the episode did have its issues. Even as a kid, I was a little bit like, that's how we're resolving the fact the command center's been destroyed. It's just going to rebuild itself, really? So that sucked. But the rest of the episode, as I say, was just so great to see these new powers and these new costumes. That we'd seen variations on the costumes before, like the ninja costumes they had just before, but this was completely new. The Rangers changed colours. It was just a really exciting time to be a Power Rangers fan. It was just one of those moments that I'll always kind of look back on as like, wow, that was so cool to see. And we got the Machine Empire turning up as well. This was a brand new set of villains. Like, whereas Lord Zed before had come in and he'd taken over Rita's place, there was still like Babu, Squat, Goldar, there was still like the familiar faces around. Now, gone. And I will say as well, I think Zeo holds up surprisingly well as a whole. Like, it's still very, very Power Rangers, but there's a lot of good stuff in Zeo. It's another one that I've looked back on recently and I've watched a handful of episodes of, and it's actually still very, very enjoyable. And it'll always kind of hold a special place for me because it's the last full series of the show that I ever watched. I didn't get very far into Turbo at all. It was basically once Tommy and everybody left, so did I, and I was kind of ready to check out by that point anyway, so I was kind of relieved they did. But yeah, Zeo, it wasn't until I went back and watched some of them that I remembered just how good it was on a Power Ranger scale at least. Number 4, The Mutiny. This was the first time we saw change on Power Rangers, the first time they changed things up. Rita, as great as Rita was, she was beginning to grow a little bit tiresome. I even remember back then just being like, oh, get a little bit annoyed with Rita now. And then in comes Lord Zed, and this guy was terrifying. Like, he was very sinister to look at, all the blood in his veins on his face and his creepy dark voice. Like, they actually had to tone him down a little bit because people were complaining that he was too scary. I don't think he was too scary. He was just nice and sinister. Like, he was just somebody you believed was evil. And when they did tone him down, it was a bit of a shame when he ended up marrying Rita and becoming a bit of a dork, really. Like, yeah, they neutered down Zed quite a lot. But his introduction was just amazing. We get a whole new set for the villains. He gets to throw Rita in a dumpster again and send her on her way. And I loved a little bit with Goldar just being like, yep, always hated Rita. Hi, Zed. I'm going to be your bitch now. Goldar was great. And we also got the first set of brand new Zords. We got the Thunder Zords, which I think I may prefer to the original Zords. I don't know, I have to think about that one. And I think as well, this episode aired, in America at least, in prime time. Like, it got a proper prime time spot to show these episodes off, because that's how huge Power Rangers was at that point. And I even remember as well the theme tune changing, because I'm such a geek like that. Even as a kid, I was a geek, and I look forward to opening credits changing, which is why I get annoyed nowadays that they're just little short snippets that show the title. I want full opening credits again. But yeah, I remember the first time I watched it. I remember the first time seeing that brand new title sequence and being so excited. And that's what I mean by this list of just the ones that I look back on the most fondly. And the Mutiny is certainly up there, certainly deserving of a 4th place. Number 3, Green with Evil. The 5-part miniseries. It would be number 1 if it wasn't for the fact that this is one I've watched very recently, and it really does sag in the middle. The middle does have problems. It's like really, exciting stuff. Like, even now watching it, seeing Tommy first come onto the scene, getting him turned evil, the Rangers reacting to the Green Ranger, and Jason being held captive by Goldar. But it's that particular point that drags this down, because he spends so long there. There's like an entire episode as a part of this of just him rolling about on the floor avoiding Goldar's sword. It goes on for such a long time. It really drags things down. But it's easily a top 3 episode because there's so much other awesome stuff going on. It's all resolved a little bit easily. I even thought that back then, that it's just, you break his sword and he's not evil anymore. Maybe, like, don't give him the sword then. Maybe just, like, hide the sword so nobody can break it. It's not a bad idea there, Rita. So yeah, it's all resolved very, very easily, but it's still awesome. As I say, I love the Green Ranger. The Green Ranger is the best. I'm sort of annoyed that in the episode that we're getting today, because Tommy's coming back to the episode that's airing in America today, that he's the Dino Thunder Ranger. But I'm sure that show's got its fans. What was that like? Let me know. I've never seen it. But yeah, Green with Evil is just the set of episodes that took me from really liking the show to absolutely loving it. It's just made me fall in love with it. It was the first time I'd seen a TV show that did something I considered to be absolutely epic. Bearing in mind I was about 9 or 10 at the time, but it was epic for kids. And this still got a lot of merit now. It still holds up in a lot of places. Not all of them, but yeah, I do still enjoy it. Okay, so coming in at second place then is Ninja Quest. So this was the set of episodes that basically redid the Power Rangers movie. So the movie came out and it had them gain their ninja powers. They lost their original powers, gained their new powers, and then the TV show came back and they just did it all again, but just in a very different way. Like, there was no Ivan Ooze and things. And you know, the movie, it doesn't hold up brilliantly well. It's still enjoyable from a nostalgia point of view, but yeah, the actual film itself, not that great. But Ninja Quest it does things really well, and this is one that I can 100% watch now and still enjoy it almost fully. Like, I can barely find problems with it. And the end of the first episode with the destruction of the Zords, and Rito, by the way, I loved Rito, he was awesome. But him and all the other monsters joining forces to just destroy the Thunder Zords was just jaw-dropping at the time. I mean, even now I can still be like, wow, okay, this was dark stuff. But you had Zords with limbs falling off, you had heads on the floor with wires sticking out of them. Like, it was pretty brutal. And there was some good acting here as well. Amy Jo Johnson's Kimberly, when she's running towards the Zords being held back, like, she puts in a solid performance there. And I definitely do think this handles gaining the ninja powers a lot better than the movie did. It may not have had the budget, but the actual story itself was a lot more concise. I still think Ninja's quite irritating. I don't know why he had to have that voice. And he doesn't look like Dulcea, let's be honest. But it's all done, as I say, a lot better. It seems like a much more cohesive story. And by this point, this was the third set of Zords that we got, and it hadn't got old by that point. That's why I'm kind of glad I jumped off Power Rangers when I did, because getting new powers every single year, just, I don't know, you can't really get attached to the characters or the actual powers themselves. So I'm kind of glad that I did stop at Turbo. I say Turbo, I've heard is not good. I've heard it did get better, but I've never checked them out. But yeah, I liked it when it was building stories, when it took characters and spanned them across multiple seasons. Like, they're the kind of TV shows I like. But I'm digressing. So yeah, Ninja Quest, just a solid set of episodes. I think it was 4 parts. All of them were really, really good. If you were a Power Rangers fan, you haven't watched episodes before, go back and check those ones out, because they're really worth your time. So some honourable mentions. Green Candle, the first time Tommy loses his powers. Great episode. I Guy, just because I Guy was such a weirdly creepy, awesome little monster. Trick or Treat's another one that I really liked, just because we have a pumpkin that fights the Rangers while he raps. That happened. Return of the Green Ranger, the 3-parter where they filmed in Australia, is a lot of fun. And I'll just say this for season 3 as well, there's a lot of actual good episodes in there where the show had a definite arc. Like, it had storylines that were just running through it rather than just one and done episodes. So that was a lot of fun, and that brings us neatly to number 1, which is Changing of the Zords. This was right in the middle of an awesome storyline. Kimberly was leaving the show, and her departure was set up quite a few episodes before. She was losing her powers like Tommy was. You had a character called Catherine who was secretly working for Rita. She was possessed like Tommy was. It was kind of doing all like the greatest hits here. She'd stolen Kimberly's power coin. Kimberly's powers were draining. Kimberly had been kidnapped. She was in danger. There was so much going on, and it wasn't just these 3 episodes. There was a couple before it, and it went on for another 4 or 5 episodes after as well. But the thing that makes this stand out the most is one scene in particular in episode 2 where Lord Zed comes to the command centre, where he appears, Alpha hides, they have to grant him access, otherwise they're going to kill Kimberly, and it's one of the few times in the 3rd season where Zed seemed like an actual powerful force again. He seemed like somebody who would be willing to kill. Like, he would happily kill Kimberly to get his own way. The music in this scene was great, just everything about it was awesome. And it's not just that scene either, there's so much more great going on in this, like the Shogun Zords coming into it's great fun. We actually get to see Tommy and Lord Zed fight, like the two of them, because Lord Zed's never actually fought a Power Ranger before, but he does in this one. Yeah, there's just so much going on here that's absolutely awesome. So they're my picks for my 10 episodes of Power Rangers that I love the most. Let me know yours. If you remember this show as fondly as I do, let me know in the comments your favourite episodes. And yeah, happy Power Rangers Day as well. It's nice to do videos like this on occasion, because I do sort of the movie reviews a lot, and I've got episode by episode. It's nice to do something different from time to time, so this was a lot of fun. I like talking nostalgia. If there's any other shows you want me to look back on nostalgically, let me know. I probably will. I probably love them. So thank you very much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Twitter @JoeJulians. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.